What's going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and welcome to another episode of Short Circuit Sports, the channel that brings you major coverage of the sports world from a fan's perspective. I got a little bit of everything for you guys on this episode today. Everything from NFL rule changes that you may or may not agree with. Personally speaking, I disagree with one of them because I just think that football is really starting to not look like football anymore. And I think the officials are going to get way too involved with this. And it's, in my personal opinion, I think it's going to be bad. But it's a wait and see. We also got the start of the Major League Baseball season for 2024, and you officially got my first pick as to who do I think is going to make the World Series and win it. Stay tuned for that. And we also got arguably the weirdest situation going down in Major League Baseball regarding one Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter / assistant. So I don't even know what to make of that. I'm going to give you the closest update that we've got to that particular story, but it is, I don't know how that whole thing is going to play out, but it's a wait and see. For those of you that are not currently subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, like this episode, turn on your notifications, the whole thing. It would really help me out, and it would also really help out the channel, and I would love to talk to more of you guys on a week-to-week basis. So without further introduction, stay plugged in, stay charged up, and let's get into it. The NFL has officially announced that they are banning the swivel hip drop tackle that has led to many injuries over the course of these last couple of years. And in particular, a swivel hip drop tackle involves a defender going low and grabbing a player by the hip or near the hip and forcibly bringing them down and putting their weight on the player, which has sometimes led to ball carriers getting their legs tangled up beneath the defender and suffering major injuries. As you can see in this particular image, this was the play that ended Mark Andrews, tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. This particular play ended his season last year because he ended up suffering a very serious ankle injury because linebacker Logan Wilson ended up putting his entire weight on Mark Andrews' leg and just completely bringing him down, and it did not go well for Mark Andrews when he hit the ground. Now, personally, I don't think that this is the greatest idea for the NFL because I think when it comes to defenders, they've already got to watch out for all of these other different penalties in regards to how low can you hit a guy, how high can you hit a guy. If you hit a guy in the shoulder pads and the official looks at it the wrong way, he thinks that you hit him head to head, and that's an automatic 15-yard penalty, first down, possible fines. And here you have a play where you have a defender, usually on the smaller side, trying to bring down a most likely larger offensive player like a Mark Andrews as a tight end or a Derrick Henry who's a larger running back, and you're trying to bring him down, and these are players known for pile driving guys into the ground, bulldozing the heck out of them, and defenders are just holding on for dear life, trying to bring them down. And you have a very rare case where offensive players can get hurt because their legs get tangled underneath, and you got the serious leg injuries like the one that you see here. But at the same time, there's only so many options that defenders have for bringing guys down. And I mean, this is tackle football. And they're trying to tackle a guy who's much larger than themselves to the ground. And I just don't see how this is beneficial for the NFL. I think that this is only detrimental to the defenders. This is another handicap for them, and I just don't think that this is the best idea for the NFL. Please let me know down in the comments if you agree, disagree. I just personally think that this is not the NFL's brightest move, and it is very controversial, in my opinion. As for this particular rule, this is now what the NFL kickoffs are going to look like for the foreseeable future. Now, as you can see, this is a particular play that was drawn up in the XFL and now has officially made its way to the NFL. And this is how it goes. So the kicker is still going to kick the ball from their 35-yard line, and his 10 coverage teammates will move from the 35 to around the 40-yard line of the opposition, and at least nine of the receiving team's blockers will line up between their 30 and 35-yard line, which is now going to be called the setup zone. And one or two of the returners will be positioned in the newly established landing zone from the goal line to the 20-yard line. Only the returners can move until the ball is touched or hits the ground. So everybody else is going to have to stay stationary until the ball is officially in play. There will officially be no more fair catches inside the 20-yard line. Touchbacks will place the ball at the 20-yard line if a kick rolls from the landing zone into the end zone and is downed, or to the 30-yard line if the kick first lands in the end zone and is downed or flies over the end zone. So this was mostly brought about for safety reasons, because obviously on kickoffs you have one side of the field rushing at the other side of the field at full speed, either blocking or trying to get past to tackle the return man, and you get a lot of guys getting hurt that way. So I understand that this is a safety issue for the NFL, and they're just trying to create more excitement on the returns, because there have been a lot of touchbacks over the course of the last couple of years, not so much returns for touchdowns. And the NFL is right now all about touchdowns and creating excitement. And they're trying something new with a kickoff. And I don't necessarily agree with this rule, but I also don't disagree with it. I think this is a very interesting rule. I would have preferred that they do something with the onside kick rule. I think that they should have completely disbanded the onside kick. And if you want to do an onside kick, it is in the XFL, it is I think it's like a 4th and 15 kind of thing, where if you convert, you get the ball back, basically. I would have much preferred the NFL go that route, but in this particular case, I mean, I can't wait to see how it goes. I think that it's very interesting, and it will create a little bit of excitement on the kickoff. And I mean, if it creates more return opportunities and more touchdowns and more excitement, I'm all for it, really. Um, it's just the NFL trying to be creative, but also trying to keep their players safe, and I can't disagree with that. Moving on, it is officially Major League Baseball season, and I am hyped for this upcoming season. I think that there are a lot of good teams that are hungry for the playoffs, hungry for a World Series win, and there are a lot of young teams coming into their own, and they are looking increasingly dangerous in their divisions. You got teams like the Baltimore Orioles that came onto the scene last year. Nobody expected Baltimore to make the splash that they did, and yet they made the playoffs. And I think that they can really make some noise in the AL East. And then you got then you got a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers, who, I mean, call it what you will. They signed Shohei Ohtani. They got Teoscar Hernandez. They got Tyler Glasnow. I mean, you got and they signed Yoshinobu Yamamoto from Japan. I mean, call it what you will. Yes, it is technically checkbook baseball where everybody's annoyed that the Dodgers opened up their checkbooks and paid for all of these players. I mean, the contracts of Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman alone are over $1 billion combined. So, personally, though, I think that fans that are criticizing the Dodgers for this are just salty that their own team did not open up the checkbooks like the Dodgers and go after these same players that the Dodgers ended up signing. So I got nothing wrong. I got nothing to say about that. I think that the Dodgers are, if not the favorites to win the World Series this year, they are very much close to being the favorites. If it's not the Dodgers, I think that the Atlanta Braves, look, say what you will about the Braves choking these last couple of years to the Phillies. I think that this Braves team, they're young, they're hungry. You got Ronald Acuna, who's probably going to be the National League MVP. He's going to be in the running this year. You got Matt Olson at first. You got Michael Harris. You got Spencer Strider on the mound. This is a Braves team that is incredibly hungry. I think, look, I would be remiss if I didn't think that it would be the Dodgers and the Braves and the NLCS, and whoever wins that series is going to win the World Series. I think that that's how it's going to play out. Obviously, we saw something completely different last year. We got the Rangers and the Diamondbacks in the World Series with the Rangers winning it. I did not see that happening whatsoever. And yet, the Rangers got hot at the right time, which is what it's all about, and the Rangers ended up winning. So, who am I to say what's going to happen? I personally think that the Dodgers are just way too stacked. And if everybody stays healthy and the Dodgers just don't do what they've been doing these last couple of years, which is completely fall asleep in the playoffs and get knocked out in the first round, I think that the Dodgers have what it takes to win the World Series. That being said, because of what is currently going on with Shohei Ohtani, and if you are currently living under a rock, you probably haven't heard of the fact that Shohei Ohtani is currently being investigated by Major League Baseball because of something that his interpreter might have done. Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, was officially fired by the Los Angeles Dodgers over alleged massive theft of Ohtani's funds. Now, in a recent press conference, Shohei Ohtani says that Mizuhara admitted to using Ohtani's funds for gambling. Ohtani claims, and quote, I have never bet on baseball or any other sports, or never have asked somebody to do it on my behalf. For those that were claiming that it was Ohtani that was betting and is basically using Mizuhara as a scapegoat. He's claiming that this is not the case and that this is strictly on Mizuhara. And Ohtani also claims, quote, and I have never went through a bookmaker to bet on sports. Ippei has been stealing money from my account and has told lies. So, very serious accusations from Ohtani to Mizuhara. I mean, Mizuhara was following Ohtani since his days with the Angels, and the two seemed very close. Mizuhara looked almost like a personal assistant than a translator at times. And I mean, I don't know about you guys that are watching this, but when it comes to celebrities and assistants, it is not so far-fetched to see an assistant basically stab their higher up in the back. And if this is all true, then Mizuhara has stolen from Shohei Ohtani, used that money to fuel a gambling debt, and now Ohtani is in the media for the wrong reasons now that baseball season has officially started, and I'm sure Shohei would love nothing more than to cooperate with Major League Baseball and get this whole situation on the back burner. And it is certainly leading to very interesting images like this. And, I mean, the jokes write themselves. Ohtani bets. Wrong place at the wrong time, I guess, for Ohtani. But in regards to whether or not I think he's innocent, I think he might be. But a lot of baseball fans out there think that the Dodgers get all the breaks, and Ohtani being the poster child for Major League Baseball, a lot of baseball fans think that even if he did do it, baseball's not going to do anything about it. Don't think that that's going to be the case. I think baseball has been very straightforward when it comes to punishments and who deserves what. And if he didn't do anything, I think everything's going to stay the same, and I think he's going to keep on playing for the rest of the year without any punishment. And that's just how I see things. That is all the time that we've got left for this episode of Short Circuit Sports. If you like this episode and you want to hear more, please subscribe, like this episode, turn on your notifications. The whole thing would really help me out, would also really help out the channel, and I would love to talk to more of you guys on a week-to-week basis. If you agreed or disagreed with anything that I said in this video, let me know down in the comments, and I will be sure to debate you in those comments or adjust them in future episodes. And if you might have seen something in the sports world that you thought I should have covered or you want to know more about, also let me know down in the comments, and I will be sure to adjust those in future videos as well. So without any further interruption to your day, stay plugged in, stay charged up, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Short Circuit Sports. Have a good one.